Good morning, this is Whiskey2 Golf, and I'm making a quick video here. I'm not a professional YouTuber by any means. Just wanted to make a quick video to answer some of the questions that I had, and there's not a whole lot of information on this. This is the Baofeng BTECH UV-50x3, and from what I understand, this is a later iteration of the Vero Telecom VR6600 Pro, which some people allege is a clone of the Yaesu FTM 350. Anyway, let's get some of the obvious stuff out of the way. Number one, I've put some Anderson power poles on here, as I already have this deployed in my car. I use the power poles as a standard in my setups, so I'm just gonna put this down, connect. And we're back online. The cable linking the main transceiver to the remote is, in fact, a regular Cat 5. This might be just a Cat 5e, but it's a regular Ethernet cable. I can't speak to the different grades, but it came with about a 20-foot long cable, and it works perfectly in my car. So for here, because I'm not pulling it all out of my interior, I just used a foot-long Ethernet cable, and it works perfectly. The microphone jack is a RJ12, I believe, and I think that the pinout is the same as most Yaesu RJ12 microphones of this nature. The programming cable, I mostly made this video for the programming purposes, because the manual programming is quite cumbersome. The firmware on this is, I guess the programming is a little slower. So navigating the menus, and sometimes it locks up, you gotta close it out, you gotta shut the whole thing off and turn it back on. So while it's doable if you have an afternoon to really play with it and put some stuff in, I would really advise just getting the cable. So the cable is marketed as a, I got it from, I believe, Valley Enterprises, and this is the barcode that came off of it, but they called it a Yaesu CT142 equivalent, and I looked it up later. The Yaesu 142 equivalent is an 8-pin DIN to 9-pin D sub, so this seems to be that sort of configuration, just going into an FTDI USB adapter. So it works perfectly, and I'm gonna demonstrate real quick for you how to download the memory and then upload the memory. So what's up? This was the exact product that I had ordered, the programming cable from Valley Enterprises, and like I said, it works just fine. So I'm not going to go how to install the drivers or anything on this, but just to verify what it looks like for me in a working configuration is I just plugged it in, and you'll see now I have USB serial port COM3. I have it set with 9600 bits per second. This is a look at the driver information. I didn't have to install anything. I'm not sure if I had the proper drivers on here from other FTDI devices that I've definitely plugged into here, but this is the information. This should be enough for anybody who needs to hound down proper driver information. Anyway, moving on. Chirp. The 50x3 works readily with Chirp version. This is the version that I have. It's a daily 2018-02-10, so the date is March 8th. So it's almost a month old, but yeah, this seems to work perfectly fine. Anyway, you don't need to put the radio into any sort of receive or send mode. Just plugging it in is simply enough. So if I go over to radio, download for radio, you saw before I was on COM3, the vendor is BTECH, model UV-50x3 right there already. So you just click OK, and it's cloning from radio. And there's nothing to indicate that on the radio itself. In fact, I believe that you can just play around with the radio while this is occurring. Oh, I jinxed it. That's what I get. Let's try it again, shall we? Take two. I'm keeping my hand in my pocket. Anyway, I don't see, this is plugging into the packet data port on the back of the main transceiver. I don't know whether or not you can use this configuration to send packet information, say from a computer. Definitely something I'm going to explore, and if I have a meaningful enough amount of information, I'll make another video about it. Until then, please don't ask. If I haven't posted a video about it, it's because I did not find out. Anyway, I had played around with this program beforehand, so you'll see that it's showing only the populated channels, but I believe that this is what you would be looking at. So you can go in, you can change all the values here. These are just my local repeaters, and I have some police radio frequencies that I listen to. I'm sorry, fire and EMT, everything else is P25.2 encoded here. So, and then you have the left channel, the right channel, and over in settings, the only thing that I really think that I needed to figure out, most of this stuff is configurable through the menus on here. I don't remember seeing if the microphone P keys, these are the shortcuts for the microphone, so you can see the squelch off, which I found that the squelch off only works when you are in VFO mode. So let me turn that up. It does not work when you are... Okay, it made a liar out of me. I may have done that on a tone squelch mode. Oh, see? Alright, so it's not working on the main channel. Alright, the firmware's not perfect. I'm not going to investigate that now. And then the only other thing that I really think that I needed to find in here was you can change the clock frequency, I suppose, if you have some sort of birdie going on somewhere where you really need to do it. I don't know where that is. I'm not going to figure that one out. And then the power on message, which you saw at the beginning of the video when I plugged it in, it just says my call sign W2XG. Put a couple spaces there so it centers it right in the middle. You can get some more some more symbols if you're typing it in chirp. So, for example, I have in my left channel, I have satellite uplink frequencies, and in the right channel, I have the downlink frequencies. So in the left channel, the uplink frequencies I have, for example, an up caret. I don't know what else you would call that, a caret. And you cannot program that on here directly. So let me go, for example, to, and watch it make a liar out of me again. So you see that the symbol is there, and you have to press this again to change that. And you see as I turn it, it just defaults back to the letters. You press font, it's supposed to give you a different selection of letters. So those are the lowercase font again. These are the numbers, but strictly numbers. And then there are a couple symbols here. There's the colon, asterisk. That's it. And those are the only two symbols that you can get. And then font again will bring you back to that. So that's also another good thing to know, is that you can put in like an ampersand, a pound sign, exclamation point, the hash key, tilde, I think. The program will only let you do that. You can't put any weird Unicode characters in there. For example, the actual up arrow. I've tried. It's finicky. But the program will limit you to exactly what you can or can't put in. But you can't, for example, punch in Unicode characters via the Alt number pad keys. So, I think that's all I've got. Yes, I think so. I haven't had a chance to So on APRS, Baofeng for a time was marketing a module that would work with this, and if it's anything like the name escapes me, the Vero, I forget, Vero Telecom. If it's the Vero Telecom spin-off, then they have an APRS unit that goes in line with the control cable of the remote, and attaches also directly to the mic input, and then you have to plug your microphone into that unit. That, for a time, was sold with a bundle with the VR 6600 Pro. It does not look like, as of 2018, that you can purchase that independently. I haven't seen anybody listed on eBay. I've made some inquiries both to Vero Telecom and to Baofeng whether or not you can purchase that unit individually. I don't believe that it really interacts with the firmware in the same way that the Yaesu's APRS unit does, whereas it will show you can send a message to that to the unit. I don't think that you can do that in the slightest on this. I haven't seen. There's a couple of videos out there where somebody in the United States has had the APRS unit for the Veritel product. I haven't seen a single stateside iteration of the Baofeng, and I don't think I've seen any of its functionality affecting the radio itself. I think it strictly works via Bluetooth with the they were touting APRS Droid, and I'm not sure if they got permission to do that going forward legally, so I'm wondering if that's why we're not seeing that 2 years later here in the States. So I'm going to experiment, and if I can do some interesting packet stuff with this, then I'll certainly post an update. Until then, this is Whiskey 2 X-Ray Golf, signing out. 73s.